Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Paigncast. This is a podcast where we shine a light on the people who are brightening up our city. Before we get into this, I want to tell you guys about something that I've got going on at my actual job here. We are giving away 10 lucky people. So, 10 lucky people are going to get their choice between a 70-inch Samsung TV or an iRobot Roomba vacuum cleaner. I don't know. Can you have a TV that's too big? Can you have someone, a robot cleaning your house? It all sounds good to me. All you have to do to get in on one of this contest is just simply meet with me about your life insurance. There's no purchase necessary. I don't need anything from you. All we're trying to do is kind of spread awareness on this. So I think you should get in on it. I've got official rules for details if you'd like to read those, but definitely get in on it right now. It's a great deal. We're super excited. I mean, 10 people, it's the biggest giveaway we've ever done. So feel free to reach out to me on that. Call me, text me, email me, whatever you prefer. Without further ado, I want to introduce today's guest. I'm super excited about it. Last year, this young man was a collegiate All-American wrestler at 133 pounds and went 17-4 in his first season in the starting lineup. This man finished 5th in the entire nation at his weight class in the NCAA championships, representing your Fighting Illini, Mr. Luke Byrd. Welcome,
What's
dude.
up? What's up?
Thanks for doing this.
You make me sound too good.
Dude, no, you sound good. Listen, before we jump in, plug, promote, anything you've got, where can the people find you?
Mainly on my Instagram, it's LukeBird12. It's a picture of me in a U of I singlet. So, I mean, that's mainly where I kind of do everything.
BYRD.
Yeah, BYRD.
Got it. LukeBird12. Got it. Anything Twitter? Just IG? Is that the one?
I use IG mainly. That's my biggest thing.
Nice. Well, listen, I want to get into it. I want to know about you. I know a little bit about you because you and I have met before, but tell me, I know you got started at wrestling at a young age. How did you kind of end up getting into the sport? How old were you, and then what kind of propelled you into it?
Man, so wrestling was like a family tradition almost, like a family thing. So like my uncles did it, my dad did it, my brother did it, and it was kind of like that's how it started. And I'm gonna knock on my brother. My brother was not the greatest athlete when he was younger. Still not the greatest athlete.
Sure.
Damn good wrestler, but like younger growing up, he had problems with athleticism. Yeah. But he started to do it, worked really hard, and then I just kind of like tug along for all the trips.
Yeah. It
wasn't like, oh, Luke, like, come do this, like, come with us. It was just like, oh, Dad and Max are going to wherever, Illinois, Indiana, like, tag along. Let's do something. It gets me out of the house. And I think it also put me out of my parents' hair. It was, I like, go off, go do something. So, I mean.
What's the age difference between the two of you?
It's like ventures between 7 and 6 years.
Okay, gotcha. Nice.
I think he's 27.
Okay.
I think it's 7 right now.
Gotcha.
But
nice. Did he wrestle with you a lot then when you were younger? No.
We never wrestled.
Okay, gotcha.
We never wrestled.
No.
We like kind of wrestled my freshman, sophomore year when he was done with college, back home for college, and then he became a coach, and we kind of wrestled. Still a lot of that big brother effect.
Yeah.
And then junior, senior year, it was kind of like that's where we like moved into like, all right, it's time to win some state titles. And, grow up and move on.
Gotcha. And now he just doesn't want the problems anymore.
Exactly. He will. Anybody that he asks. So if he's going to hear this podcast, and I guarantee he calls me and he goes, remember the because we wrestled one time last year.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years ago before Midlands. And he threw me. And I'll give him props. He threw me. And then took his shoes off. Never puts him back on. He will not wrestle. He refuses to.
That was it.
And whenever you bring it up, like after national, he's like, "Damn, I can't believe I pinned somebody that got 5th at national. Like, you're an asshole." Like, I was like, never puts his shoes back on.
Dude, that's that big brother effect.
Dude, he never puts his shoes back on.
Yeah, it makes sense. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, so you start then. How old were you when you really kind of started getting into it? Then you said, I mean, like you're talking
like 4.
Okay,
I was like on him. I've like mat rat. I've been on the mat since I was like 2.
Gotcha.
Crawling around, rolling around, like doing shit. But I started like practicing, like attempting to learn stuff at like 4.
Okay,
3, 4.
Gotcha. So what age then do you start to do it competitively where it like actually matters? They're keeping score.
Middle school.
Okay, gotcha.
Like there's like in Ohio, there's OAC state, which is like grade school, which is 1 through 5, and there's middle school state, which is 6 through 8. And I think I like started in 6th grade. I was like my 6th, 7th, and 8th grade year, I had made the middle school state finals.
Okay, gotcha.
Like 3 years in a row, so it was kind of like
Did you go to a big high school?
No, I went to a small Catholic high school.
Okay, gotcha.
All boys.
See, I wondered then, I'm surprised, I went to a small school as well. I'm surprised that wrestling was even an option at some of those, like in the middle school level at some of those smaller
Well,
spots.
I wrestled through a club.
Gotcha.
I had club wrestled.
Okay, gotcha.
I club wrestled because my like high school, I like wrestled for their club.
Okay, gotcha. So then tell me, how did you kind of realize that you had a knack for it? When did you kind of start to realize, like, I'm beating a lot of these kids?
It probably clicked when I made a world team.
Yeah.
In 2017, it was kind of like, oh, shit.
How old were you then?
I was a sophomore.
Okay.
Going into my junior year, maybe.
Gotcha.
Sophomore summer.
Uh-huh.
So I was 16, 17. I had made a world team, and I was like, damn.
Right. I'm doing well.
I rolled these guys.
Right.
And then junior year, it was kind of like, just kind of kept boosting confidence, like
sure.
Nobody's keeping up with me. Senior year, it was just blast off.
Yeah. Did you roll through everybody on your junior and senior year then for the most part?
No, not my junior year. I took some losses. And then my senior year, I avenged all of them. I had one loss my senior year.
Uh-huh.
First term of the year was number 1 kid in the country. And I was like number 3.
Right.
And then after a couple weeks later, he lost. And I went number 1. And he went like number 3 or something.
When do you start picking up, like, when does the recruiting start then as a collegiate wrestler? I know in hoops, football, that stuff's starting early. They're looking at you way early in those sports.
I think now the rules have changed so much. It's like, I think they can start reaching out like June, July, I think, for sophomores.
Uh-huh.
And then it kind of goes from there. But I was committed.
Uh-huh.
So I wasn't committed to U of I all the time.
Okay.
I was committed to Maryland.
Okay, gotcha.
Like full board, like going to Maryland.
Really?
And they decided to have a change with their coaching staff. And I was like, oh, like I'm going to ask for my release. I got my release. And, I decided to come here.
Yeah. Okay, so walk me through that then. Maryland just kind of starts showing up at, to check you out, I'm assuming.
That was the only school that was really giving me attention at the time.
Uh-huh.
I didn't think of it. They were like, oh, here's a full ride. I was like,
yeah,
sign it.
That
Bam.
sounds good.
That's where I'm going.
Sure.
Young, naive. Still am young and naive.
Uh-huh. Sure. Younger.
Yeah,
naive,
younger,
more
naiver.
So do they say, hey, we want you to come here, come check out campus? Is that how that
Illinois
works?
or Maryland? Yeah.
Maryland.
Like Maryland, they talk to you and they're like, hey, we want to bring you out for an official visit. Like, we want you to see campus. And
yeah.
Went to the football games, partied, did all that stuff. And then when it came down to signing the dotted line, I was like, oh, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. It's full ride. Books are paid for. Education.
They fly you out?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Put you up in a hotel.
I stayed with one of the athletes.
Okay, gotcha.
You kind of get to pick. They give you, U of I, they give, they're like, hey, you have a hotel room.
Right.
Here's your hotel room. Do you use it? Sick. If you don't use it,
it's there.
No big. Yeah, it's
there.
There. It's there if you need it.
Mm-hmm. So they fly you out there, and they're trying to they want you to get the Maryland experience, right? That's what it looks like then.
Oh, I got it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I got the
got
Maryland experience. It was a good time.
You hear some of the crazy stories from high-profile athletes on their visits, and what they kind of roll out for you to be like, come.
And you got to figure, I remember it was it was a women's basketball game. We snuck on the floor, and they're just telling security, they're like, oh, he's like a recruit. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, all right, come on now. We're sitting front row for the women's basketball game. And it was like, what?
Yeah, in Maryland.
How are we?
Yeah.
People come by, they're like, you supposed to be here? They're like, he's a recruit. They're like,
yeah.
Sounds good.
Exactly.
Like, sick.
Hope to see you in the fall,
son.
Yeah,
sick. I'll be here in the fall. I've already signed. See you later.
Okay, so you've got Maryland. They're on the radar. You've committed there. You're planning on going there. You said some changes to the coaching staff. What happened there?
They just let go of their head coach.
Okay, gotcha. And that was the one that you had the rapport with.
Yeah, that was the one I had that connection with that I really liked. Loved the assistant coaches, but the head coach was recruiting me. It was kind of all right, cool. Yeah. And when they brought the new head coach on, I wasn't really contacted by him, so I was like, I'm gonna ask for my release, see what other options are out there.
Is there there's no type of penalty for being I'm committed here, I'm no longer committed here?
As long as they give you a release, they don't have to give it. Once you sign your dotted line, they don't have to.
You could be stuck there.
Yeah, you're stuck there for a year until you enter the portal.
Right. Interesting. Does that ever happen?
Yeah.
With guys, really?
Sometimes it's a rare case, but sometimes it's
sorry, you've already committed.
Yeah,
you're gonna come.
We
wrestle
need
here.
Sometimes it's teams are they need the weight, and that's the guy they have, and that's who they plan on. Mm-hmm. And I'm oh shit, I want to go somewhere, and they're sorry,
right,
you're stuck. I hate to do it to you, but.
So because you're from Ohio, how does Illinois get in the mix? And were there any other schools?
Penn State.
Okay, gotcha.
Those are the two on the radar.
Okay, gotcha.
My high school head coach, Ryan Root, wrestled at Penn State for 2 years, and then wrestled at Illinois for 2 years.
Gotcha.
And he was my connection to put Hef. Plus, Hef's an Ohio guy.
Okay, gotcha.
The old head coach went to St. Ed's, which is northern Ohio.
Okay, gotcha.
So.
Gotcha.
That's the connection that I had there.
Did you do any visit to Penn State?
Nope.
Nope.
I committed here, and I was like, I'm not taking any other visits.
Did you? What did it look like when you visited here?
Didn't party.
No.
Because you can't get into the bars when you're 18.
I didn't think about that.
When you're 18, you can't get in the bars. Maryland, it was like they figure ways out, but here it was like, we're gonna play the rules, and I'm like,
they kind of had to have it buttoned up.
It was like
I
wasn't a big partier anyway, so
Sure.
It wasn't like, darn, I came here to like party and get hammered.
Yeah,
and,
but you'd already been to Maryland.
Yeah,
so
like I was
had,
like, all right,
some
like,
idea
I guess
of
this is what it's gonna be like, and then I mean, I had a great time.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you came.
Yeah, teammates that I have now, love the teammates, love the
Mm-hmm.
team, love the coaching staff. It's
a
solid fit for me.
So if you weren't partying, then like, what was the hangout? I mean, I'm sure they're giving you the tours, right?
Took the tours, went to get food,
Mm-hmm.
played on the soccer field, like hung out with other people, like other athletes, just kind of like instead of like meeting everybody at a bar drunk, like it was, hey, like let's all meet, like, hey, this is our recruit, this is Lucas, he's gonna come here, blah blah blah. Let's like give him a good time, like play card games, play whatever.
Sure.
So I mean,
some actual like quality time.
Yeah,
throwing
like,
down a little.
Trying
bit.
to make connections.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotcha. I don't believe you make connections at a bar. Like,
sure.
You do, but you don't. Like
I get that.
You do, but you don't. Where it's like
nothing meaningful.
Exactly.
Typically. Yeah.
Personal connections are like a lot with me.
Gotcha. Nice. So you're meeting some of the people then. When did you kind of decide like this is the one? Was there anything in particular that kind of let you know like this is where I'm setting up shop?
Nah, Poeta was. I really, really committed here because of Poeta. Love Poeta to death.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like somebody who was always reaching out to me. Now he doesn't talk to me, but
now he's head coach.
Now he doesn't talk
Come
to
on,
me. He doesn't talk to anybody. But
he's got stuff to do now.
Talking to me all the time, reaching out all the time, responding to texts. I'm like, damn, like this guy's really like, gunning for it. He's texting my high school coach like, hey, like we want Byrd. And I was like, it's hard to turn down someone that's like
feels nice,
always
right?
talking to you. It's like
always
like like he's giving you everything, and he still does like everything. Like he's like, hey, like you're the guy, like we want you to win a national title. We want you to help the team. We want everybody. We want to bring you in to help the other guys like Justin, Dylan. Don't like come in and like help those guys win national titles along with yourself. Because then that leads to a team title. Team title leads to so many more opportunities.
Right. Gotcha. So what does it look like now? What's the experience whenever? Because now you're kind of the big dog. Been around, 5th in nationals, got a little status now. Now all of a sudden, whenever I would assume that there's recruits coming in, they know your stats. They know who you are by the time they walk in. What does it look like when you're recruiting them? Is it a similar situation where it's like, hey, let's kind of bro down here? I mean, are you guys sneaking them in the back door, the Red Lion? What's happening then?
I'm a loner. Like I don't like. It's terrible to say I'm a loner, but like I like my like me time.
Yeah,
I love my me time.
Yeah,
and it's like if we have recruits, like I'll go, hey, what's up? Like blah blah.
Yeah,
I'm Lucas. Boom boom boom. But then sometimes it's like, hey, like might put these guys with him. Like I'll come to the dinners and I'll come like meet the family if I need to. But I really like my me time.
Sure, I get that. I totally get that.
It's hard to get. You got to keep it when you can get it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I know that you guys like the schedule that you're on just from chit-chatting with you. It's a different experience than the one that I had whenever I was a college student. Where I had literally nothing going on other than
it's like,
don't fail out of school, Austin.
Well, it was like today. It was like there's just so much responsibility, especially with COVID.
Right.
Like we have to have building access to get into class. I just didn't have building access today because my like vaccine card isn't like all the way on there. And they're like, "Yeah, like you can't come to class today." And I was like, "It's the first day. Like, I need to be here. Like, I need to know what's going on."
Yeah.
Like, you gotta leave. And I was like, "This is bullshit."
You guys all back in person then?
Yeah.
For the most part.
Back in person with mask.
Okay, gotcha.
Which sucks, but I think
glass half full. You're back. You're not doing it virtually.
Yeah, it's
right.
Better. I'm an online student though, so I'm like, damn, I gotta go back to online. But I'd much rather like interacting with people.
Okay, gotcha. It seems like that goes either way. Some people were during the pandemic just a straight up fish in water. Yeah. They loved it. They loved the space.
I was so good at it.
Yeah.
I didn't have to talk to anybody. I worked at my own pace.
Yeah.
I didn't have any Zoom classes. I just did whatever the hell I wanted to.
Yeah.
And then it was like, now I'm like, damn.
Yeah, back to in person. Got to be around different places.
And my apartment is it's like a 20-minute walk.
Is it?
It's hot.
Yeah.
I'm like sweating. I'm like, damn it. Like, come on.
Yeah. The good news is just a month or two, it's going to be freezing cold on that 20-minute walk.
And the buses are going to be full. I'm like, damn, I got to walk. I was talking to my dad. I was like, I'm going to get a bike. He's like, you can't bike in the snow. I was like, they clear the roads.
Yeah, exactly.
They clear the roads. They don't just say screw, like, have fun. They clear them a little bit.
So you are in dorms right now?
I'm in an apartment.
Okay, that's right. No, apartment. And you said you've got random roommates. 3 of them or 4?
3.
Okay, gotcha. Cool dudes.
Yeah.
Throwing down.
Solid. Yeah.
Gotcha. Is it the first time you've lived with a group of dudes before?
I mean, other than my teammates, but yeah.
Is your place disgusting?
Yeah. My place is clean.
Is it? Good
my
for
place
you.
Is clean.
I lived in a place that was just a rat's nest.
I'm also never in my place.
Right.
Like ever.
Yeah,
like,
so there's not enough time for it to
I literally sleep and nap there. That's it. I don't like do any. Like people are like, oh, like they're like, we're listing out their schedule. Like, oh, I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna chill and play video games. I'm like, I just don't have time for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where do y'all find the time for this?
That's crazy. Yeah.
And then school starts. You have homework. Like, I don't have time to like sit and relax.
That is one of the things that really amazes me about collegiate athletes is the amount of responsibility that you guys are dealing with comparatively, right? Where like there would be days whenever I was a college student and my grades were always passable. I was fine. I was never on the honor roll. That's all it was. That's all I cared about. And I was truly, for better or worse, I was motivated by my ability to stay. I was like, I can't botch this because I don't want to leave here. I'm having a great time. But had very, very little responsibility comparatively. And I can remember seeing the athletes on campus because I went to school at Illinois State. Yeah. And just being like, golly, these guys got stuff to do all the time. Yeah. All the time. And in addition to being an actual student and having classes and all of that.
When it's like some of my friends like have jobs.
Yeah.
And they're like doing stuff. I'm like, so you're going to school, practice, and a job?
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
Could not be me. I'd be overwhelmed with so much to do.
Yeah. Especially because like even if you don't have a job, like finals were overwhelming just in general when it's like, I got this paper I got to get done.
Yeah. And it's like my one class today, it's like a 15 to 16 page group paper.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you imagine working a job on top of that?
Yeah.
Like there's no time to do anything.
And no other athletes in your group, I'm assuming.
No, it's just like you and you're like, sorry, you're like, damn, what the heck? Like that doesn't help me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. So I know you had a great year last year. What was it like doing all that during a pandemic, right? I mean, was there any fear of like we're not having a season, or anything like that?
It was always there.
Yeah,
it was definitely always there.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming everything's going normal. We're in February of 2020. Things are going normal. You're practicing. Start to be some whispers of a pandemic. Start to hear about coronavirus. Next thing you know, everything's getting shut down. We're pulling kids out of classes around spring break time.
They sent us home. They were like, yo, y'all got to leave. And I was like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
I was like, you got to leave?
Yes. You're gone.
Like, pack up, get the hell out.
Yes.
Like, all right. And then when I was like, oh, we're going to do all online, I was like, well, that'll be interesting. Yeah. And then everybody's like, oh, I can't wait to be online. Like, I get to be at home. I'm like, no, I still have to be on campus.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, so, I was still on campus. Like,
so you stayed.
All the
through the whole thing. All the athletes were still here.
Got kicked out of the dorms, and as soon as I could move into my apartment, I was living in my apartment.
Did you have roommates at that time?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But it was like we were following COVID protocol. We were testing every day. Like, it was a hassle.
Is that still what the kind of like the regime is?
If you're not vaccinated,
they're still testing you
so
all
if
the
you're
time.
fully vaccinated, you don't have to test at all.
Okay, gotcha. So you don't have to worry about it as much now.
Not anymore because my card went through.
Right. But then for a while, last year, every day you're taking a test, right? Were kids popping positive on accident, just like based on being out there and being like, well, yeah.
Here and there, yeah.
And I would think that all of like, were they doing or trying to do all of the tracing and stuff for the athletes to where if you had a guy test and were you like, I was just on the mat with this dude?
Yeah. We're in the locker room. It's like,
well,
that sucks.
Yeah.
Let's see. Like when we wrestled Indiana. You had to follow like the code protocol, so the kid we would test after when you got back to school or whatever. Yeah. And the kid I wrestled at Indiana tested positive. Mm-hmm. And they're like, our trainer calls me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I just got done working out." And he's like, "You should stop." And I was like, "Whoa." Yeah. And he's like, "Your kid tested positive," and I was like, "Yeah." Whoa, that's 2 weeks.
Right.
That's like weird getting ready to do Iowa and stuff. I was like, "That's 2 weeks that I can't wrestle."
Really? Is that how it went? So you just had to sit out, or was testing
I didn't get it. I tested twice, the next 2 days, and they're like, "You're negative, you're good." Okay. So I got lucky, but sometimes it's like that's how it would be. It was like, oh, you're a contact, 10 days, right? Nothing, can't practice, can't lift, can't do anything, and I was like, I'd be screwed.
That stuff was so crazy last year. Before we kind of had the numbers down on how long you needed to separate, how long you needed to be away from people. No one knew. So
No.
you're just kind of guessing where you're like, well, do I need to be 10 days, 2
Yeah,
weeks to stay away? Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And especially it seemed like with athletes too, because of the shape that a lot of them were in, there would be some guys who I know, at least when I follow like the NFL or basketball, whatever it would be, you'd have guys that would test positive for 3 weeks sometimes with zero symptoms.
I tested positive. I had 0 symptoms.
Really?
I was put in a hotel for 2 weeks. 0 symptoms.
Really?
Eating the most pizza I've ever eaten in my life.
Yeah. You never had a symptom the whole time? Really? See, that's what's fascinating to me. I wonder, just because you guys are athletes, right?
No, like my dad, because I got it from my grandpa, because I went home when the coach told me not to. But I was like, I'm going home.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandpa tested positive, who's like 80 something.
Yeah.
No symptoms.
Uh-huh.
Dad's 60, super fit guy, runs all the time, like hiking, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Didn't have any symptoms.
Right.
I had tested positive, didn't have any symptoms.
Yeah.
I was like, so maybe we just got lucky,
Yeah.
but
Birdman. Just didn't get them.
The genes, the Byrd genes,
yeah,
just
the
didn't
Byrd
get sick
genes
at all. And I was like, all right, sounds good.
Uh-huh. Where'd they put you up?
The Ham.
Okay, gotcha.
Maybe Hampton, somewhere downtown.
Uh-huh. And they just had you, like, they just bringing you pizza? They just set it outside the door, like,
I had to order it.
Weeks?
They would like bring me meals, but I was eating all the time. So
Yeah.
I like ate 3 meals in like 2 sittings.
Yeah.
That's what I did, and I was like, I need more food. Like the first night, I was like, I need more food. They're like, what do you
Right.
mean? I'm like, I'm starving.
Yeah.
I need more food, and they were like, we can't do that. And I was
Yeah,
like,
that's that athlete metabolism.
I was like, fine, I'm ordering pizza. So I ordered
Right.
pizza. I was like, I have COVID. Knock on the door, leave it. I'll let you guys walk away.
Yeah, and then I'll get it.
So that's what happened. They wore a mask up,
Oh.
dropped it off, knocked, walked away. I picked it up.
Was it agonizing being, like, isolated, or did you do okay with it for the most part?
I love being alone.
Really?
So I did
Oh,
fine.
man.
I was like, yeah, this is easy. Like,
I'd
people are
have
like, I hate being alone.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I'd have been checking the windows. Like, I'm jumping out of this thing,
I don't
dude.
care.
I'm dying in here.
I never care. I'm like, it's fine to me.
How'd you spend your time? Just, like, watch TV, playing video games, chilling?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
all I did. Just played watched Hulu and did homework.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy. At least if anyone that I know that tested was still at home, right?
Yeah.
So they were still able, like, in their
Yeah,
environment.
it was so much like, if I had tested positive at home, I'd have been fine.
Yeah.
I like,
Everything's there.
would I have followed protocol?
Sure.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Sure.
it's tough.
Would I have ran to get ice cream? Yes.
Right.
Like, would I have been able to go out and about? Yeah. Would
Yeah.
I have? I'd have felt bad, but
Did they have any type of, like, check-in on you while you were in there, though?
they
It
got
was like-
cameras in the hotel. Like,
Okay, gotcha.
like, you can't leave. I'm
Yeah,
like,
so you're locked down.
I'm like, all right.
It's a
I
little
won't-
2-week prison almost.
Yeah, I'm
with
like,
TV.
I won't leave.
Yeah. Did they just tell you, like, here, just take, what did you do about laundry? Did you just take 2 weeks worth of clothes?
Yeah, you don't do
Damn.
laundry. You
Wow.
just like,
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
In 2 weeks, you are going to be fine. Yeah.
yeah. Then I had all my MRI testing.
Uh-huh. And that was
terrible,
that?
too. Yeah.
Man, that sucks, dude. Yeah. Oh, well, at least it's past you.
It's past me now. I'm like,
Yeah.
great, it's past me, but
When was that? Like, what month?
it was like right before the season. September,
Okay, gotcha.
maybe October, September, October, somewhere around there.
Gotcha. So they were still, like, I don't even remember the timeline on a lot of it. I didn't know when, like, the rapid, like, not even rapid testing, but just, like, the testing and all of that stuff came about.
It all molded together. when they were
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I
6
know.
a.m. testing. I was like, whoa.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I guess.
So what's on deck for this season, right? We're gearing up for it. How's the team look?
We look great.
Yeah.
Look solid. We got good guys. We got guys, some transfers coming in,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully make some noise.
Yeah. Nice. How you feeling heading into it? You excited? You're coming off a big year, dude.
It's just another season to me.
Yeah.
I don't ever look at, like, I don't know, All-American, like, it's great. Comes with a ton of responsibilities. Comes with,
Yeah.
all the
Feel the
perks.
pressure?
Nah.
No.
I don't get nervous, I guess.
Really?
Like, it's the easiest way to explain it is before my blood round match. So, like, I had to win to place.
Yeah.
And if I lost, I didn't place.
Mhm.
And I was wrestling Mickey Philippi from Pitt, and arguably probably one of the best guys on top in college wrestling right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like in the tunnel, and Mike's like, we need a game plan. And I was like, win. That's the game plan.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't like, oh, this is. I'm just like, go wrestle.
Yeah.
Do me.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, well, he's good on top. We're not going down. I was like, what? What do you mean we're not going down? I get away from anybody, Poeta. Like, I get away from everybody.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're not going down. I was like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Stop talking to him. I was like, that's bullshit. Like, I was pissed
Did it
off.
change everything? Right, because he was trying to.
Yeah,
you just weren't wrapping your head around that.
Put me in the best position to win.
Yeah, sure. Doing what coaches do.
It's what he's supposed to do. He's put me in the best position to win. This is bullshit. You're about to tell me this right before I gotta walk out there.
Right.
So we're into the match. It's 2-1, 2-2, tied 2-2. We go into the third period, and Hef walks by with Dylan Duncan going to his blood round match, and Hef's like, he's got to go neutral. And Mike, Poto was just like, thinking I should go down. So I look over in the corner as my call, and Poto goes, I was like, damn it.
What's that mean?
Neutral.
Okay, gotcha.
I was like, damn it. All right, here we go. Gave neutral, wrestled another 2 minutes on our feet, and then went into overtime and ended up taking him down.
Nice, dude.
But it was like, everybody's like, oh, you got Philippi. Like, even if, you ask my dad or brother, I was talking to my brother after, and he's like, if you'd have told me at the beginning of the year your blood round match was Mickey Philippi, I'd have said, giddy up and let's ride. And I was like, yeah, that's what I thought when I walked out there.
Yeah,
I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
You got a freshman versus a senior.
Right.
Who's, married and, shit like that. So you're like, hey, it's time to giddy up with the big boys and see what we're made of.
It's got to be interesting now because part of that's got to be shifting to you now. I imagine that when you walk in the gym,
I know I'm the older
Appalachian
guy.
States,
I'm the older guy.
You're the guy. You're the All-American. You're the guy that was 5th in Nationals.
Yeah, it's totally different now. But I mean,
you're the big game on people's schedules. People looking down, they're like, circle this one.
And I'm okay with that. I love that. I'm like, bring it.
Yeah. Got to feel kind of nice, right?
Yeah, it does. But it's like people are like, I get match, before match nerves, everybody gets nerves or whatever. But it's like, I don't know. I just know it's wrestling. Yeah. Nobody starts with a superpower. Nobody starts with extra points. It's just kind of you go out there, shake hands, figure out who the better man is.
Sure. I love it. So tell me, I know you've still got several years of wrestling left ahead of you, which is exciting. The future is very, very bright for you. Have you thought about what life is going to look like after wrestling? What do you want to do? I mean, again, this is something you've been wrestling for a long time. You're studying. You're in school. What is it? What's the plan for after?
I've always wanted to fight.
Yeah?
So that's possible career path.
MMA?
Yeah. UFC, MMA, that's always something I've wanted to do. But I don't know. I think the more realistic thing is, finish out, win a couple national titles, end up being a coach at U of I.
Yeah. Do you train?
When I'm back home, here and there.
Gotcha.
But I mean, it's just hard. You don't want to get hurt.
Right.
You don't want to get something dumb. Oh, I got knocked out. I have a concussion now.
Yeah.
Totally plays the game different. But I mean, I'll probably end up being a coach, somewhere in a big college. Yeah. Making whatever it is.
Right. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I would bet that when you walk in the gym though to train MMA, some of the other guys have got to be looking at you like, I don't really want to wrestle this guy.
None of them wrestle. It's like jiu-jitsu. They're like, oh, I'll beat you in jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, maybe. I'm okay at jiu-jitsu. And it's like, but you won't wrestle me.
Right, exactly.
There's a major difference. I will do jiu-jitsu and boxing with you, but you, won't do this certain thing with me.
No, of course not.
You are scared. Exactly, you don't want to do this with me.
I'm not doing that with you.
And I'll do everything else with you guys. There's a solid difference.
Sure.
But everybody I go with back home, they all mix it in. It's fun.
Yeah, I would think so.
It's a good time.
I imagine with you, someone who placed, 5th in the NCAA championships and nationals, they're not interested in wrestling.
Well, I don't tell people. When I go to gyms or high schools and stuff, I just if you know who I am, sick. If you don't know who I am, I'm sick. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's I go in and it's oh, who's that guy? I'm okay.
Yeah.
Just gonna kick
Do they ever tap you up a little bit too much, and then they've quickly realized now?
No, because I tell them, I tell them, I'm like, hey, give it to me. I don't like when people baby me. I don't like being babied. I'm like, hey, let's see it. Don't piddle or play around the bush. Get to it. You are training to do this, and I'm here to help you.
Sure.
So I'm not gonna get mad and hurt you or something.
I think it's exciting though, having the foundation of wrestling, especially if you've mixed in some of the training components of other stuff. The foundation of wrestling is huge for being a well-rounded fighter.
It's really big.
Really,
really big.
So you've kind of got a little bit of leg up for guys your age that are wanting to get into
it,
or
definitely.
Even if they've trained, they've got good hands or they've done some groundwork and stuff before, it seems like the wrestling component translates more to the all-around fight.
Yeah, it's just really hard to hit somebody really hard when you're on your back.
Right.
The power aren't in the hips, your kicks aren't there. It's really hard.
Yeah. And they're not standing back up. That's
exactly.
the other
and
thing.
It's like you got a guy like could be like throwing elbows and stuff. Like you just can't.
Yeah.
There's so much to process. You have to process getting out and not being elbowed in the face.
Right. You're just being mauled. I couldn't imagine just not being able to stand up.
Yeah, you're just stuck.
It's like this guy's not going to allow me back to my feet. I can't do anything about it.
They're like 25-minute fights, and you're like, this guy had 24 minutes of control time, and you're like,
yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
The whole time.
Yeah, like
nothing the other guy could do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
That's exciting. So I got one more question for you here. You're sophomore in college now. Looking where you're at right now, All-American, guy who finished 5th in Nationals. What advice would you give to yourself that could be helpful when you were just a sophomore in high school, before this whole thing started here, before the college visits, before you were Luke Byrd, the All-American? What advice would you give to yourself if you were a sophomore?
Do better in school.
Yeah? Try harder? Yep. That's awesome. You know what? You don't hear that from enough people.
Do better. I was a terrible student.
Were you?
I was a terrible student.
Yeah.
My first year here, I had a 1.9 like finishing out.
Mm-hmm.
I had a terrible GPA.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. Oh well. Like,
yeah.
On to the next one. I can still wrestle. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I was like, damn, like I gotta get my grades up. And then I finished with a 3.5 when COVID happened. And this past semester I finished with a 3.8.
Yeah.
So it's like, just do better in school.
Yeah.
Shit goes a long way. Like,
yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know, conversation I've had with like my dad and friends, and it's like, wrestling does end at some point.
Sure.
Like, I can't do it forever at a competitive level.
Yeah.
Just how the world works. You get old. Like, my dad's 60 years old,
mm-hmm.
and he like wrestles like younger kids, but it's like he's old. Like,
sure,
he's really fit. Like, he runs like 5 miles every morning,
mm-hmm.
lifts every day. Like, he's an anomaly to like people. Like, I'm like, holy shit, dad. Like, that's you.
Yeah.
My dad at one point weighed 160 pounds, and he's like 5'3".
Uh-huh.
So it's like, good for you, dad.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be on the other spectrum. I'm gonna be the guy that weighs 160 pounds.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, boom. Like,
yeah.
Not working out, but
sure.
We'll see how it goes. We were having a conversation, and he was like, he's got like a 20-pound vest, and I was weighing like 140. He was like, go put on that 20-pound vest and go for a run.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Dad, if I'm 160 pounds, I can tell you one thing: I am not running.
Yeah.
I'm not going. I'm gonna go for a run. Like, I'm gonna walk.
Yeah.
Pizza and beer and relax. There's no chance that I'm going on a run, Dad. He's like, that makes sense. I was like, exactly.
Yeah. Dude, it's so funny to hear young man like yourself talk about his grades. I didn't try hard in high school. I don't think, not everyone does. High school is pretty easy. You can get by. Like, if you show up, you
cheat,
turn
get
stuff
by.
in, you're going to be fine as far as your grades go. It sneaks up on you in college, though. I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. So I went on academic probation after my freshman year immediately.
That's what I was on.
Again, it was like, and that became very serious, because then all of a sudden it was like, you're gone if you don't get it together. Like, here's your one try. I understand you're having a good time. You're enjoying yourself. You need to focus here, because if not, you're going back home.
See, that's the thing with
couldn't have it.
That's the thing with athletes. They get you get another chance. Like, they're like, yo, you're on academic probation. Like, you need to figure your shit out.
Yeah.
It's like, you go on one more. They're like, all right, like, this is it. Like, you get like 2 tries.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, my granny was crying. I was like, I can't get a 1.9. Yeah. She's gonna kill me. I was like, scary. I gotta get good grades. So, back to the talk. It was like, wrestling ends.
Yeah.
Nice. Conversation I've had with myself multiple times. Like, at some point, the sport's gonna end for me.
Right. Exactly.
So.
Yeah. Well, you're wise for learning it at a young age, though, and getting understanding. Like, I should try and soak up at least some of the stuff that I'm interested in.
My grandma and uncle drilled it into me. It was always, grades.
Yeah.
My dad, it was grades where it was like wrestling grades.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly.
Wrestling
grades. Yeah.
Grandma and uncle, my uncle Greg, it was like grades.
Right.
All right. Grades.
Yeah. Got it. Grades.
It is. Got it.
Does matter.
Wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
They're like, no, grades.
Like, yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Gressling?
Gressling?
Is that what we were? Yeah. Well, listen, one more time before we get out of here, promote all of your stuff.
IG baby Luke Byrd 12.
Luke Byrd 12.
BYRD.
Follow the guy. Hey, listen, good luck on the season this year. I'm excited. I'm going to come check you out. I'm pumped.
I know. Hold on. One more thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the Champaign-Urbana area and you can come to our wrestling meets,
they
are free.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys come and pack the stands, That'd be kind of sick.
Where can they see them? Where is it all held?
It's either Huff Hall or State Farm.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'm 90% sure the tickets are free.
Uh-huh.
So, pack the stands.
That's what I'm saying.
Pack them.
And when does the season start? When are we up and running? When can
Our first duel is at SIUE.
Okay, gotcha.
So if you guys want to make that, I don't know how far that is. If you want to make that little trip down there.
If you're in Western Illinois.
Bam.
Uh-huh.
Be sick to have the support because, our sport, it's not that it doesn't get a lot of support. But it doesn't. Like, let's be honest. It doesn't get the football coverage. It doesn't get the coverage.
Yep, got it.
So, like, the more, like, we can pack the stands, get Illini fans out there.
Yeah.
I'll take a picture with you.
Yeah. I love it.
You can come out.
When is the first meet?
We don't know yet.
Okay, gotcha.
That's the only thing we don't know.
Okay, gotcha.
But
any idea when the schedule's coming out? People will be able to know?
It's hard to figure. They're stingy.
Yeah.
They're very, very
sure.
They're very stingy with it.
Keep that stuff close to their vest.
Yeah, it's very, very stingy, but, be there.
Yeah, we'll put it out whenever it comes out. Let the people know.
Bingo.
Cool. All right, brother. Hey, listen, I'll get you out of here. I appreciate you coming by and doing this, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. It was a great time.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, thank you, everyone, for coming and checking it out. Like and subscribe to the podcast. I know it means very little to you guys. It really does help us out. We'll see you next time.